Whew, Niner faithful, we did end up with the much needed W on that one. I would agree with the comments I am seeing here in the chat that yes, once the nerves settled, the second half was much more of what you were looking for. Bobby Lopez calling it out. Todd Harris, second half looked good. It was trepidatious to begin, let's just say. That was a very close first half, opened it up in the second, got that convincing victory that the 49ers needed. After all, a 16-point victory. So that's a pretty good end result. Pretty good. James Harper, I want to hear the updates. I've been keeping my eye on the ESPN updates, and I'm going to continue to do so as we watch and go through this program, because it looked like the Saints were up 8 and honestly want Carolina to come back and get that victory. Let's just clinch as of today. Can we? Really need to. Texas Niner, one of the sneakerheads here on the channel. Trey almost had 3Ds. Called it, but not quite. I was looking at my own prediction here. So in the mailbag that happened earlier in the week, I was asked whether it was going to be over or under 250 passing yards and over or under 50 yards rushing. And I said, well, if I've got to take both, I'm going the over on both. But really what I wanted was the over on 250 passing and the under on 50 rushing. I predicted 285 passing, 45 rushing. The end result was 1 yard shy of that 250 mark, 249 yards passing. So I was off by 36 yards on that one. And then just about 30 yards rushing from Trey Lance. I predicted those 45. So pretty close on that one as well. Looking like Trey, 31 yards rushing on that. I mean, the game plan ended up where you wanted it. It didn't look that way at first, but you ended up with 37 rushing yards, 37 rushing attempts, spread out 21 for Mitchell, 8 for Lance, 7 for Debo, and 1 for George Kittle. And then 23 passing attempts. That's right about where I wanted to see this game plan. It didn't look like it was going to break out that way early, but it did break the 49ers' way at the end. Todd Harris has joined the Sneakerhead crew. Welcome, Todd. Appreciate all of the members of this channel. Appreciate anyone that watches the channel, that subscribes to the channel, that likes the videos. Certainly those sneakerheads that join and support the channel. Bat Dad, I feel you on this one. Twitter was tough in that first half. Give the kid time. The future looks bright. Yes, it was bleak. 49ers fans quickly pivoted to the negative, and it took a while before they started to come out. I think there's some PTSD that is occurring because of the inconsistent play this season. Inconsistent play, game in, game out. You haven't known what to expect. We've had a lot of letdowns or near letdowns. So I don't blame 49er faithful for being a little bit nervous in this one. Just a little bit nervous on how this one turned out. I mean, it started out okay, right? I thought that it was just Shanahan, Trey feeling out the Texans defense to start. 8 runs, only 2 passes, but it did start to feel like that Arizona game. Fans on Twitter in particular wanted to bail on the offense crazy early, had no patience for that, saw a repeat of that Arizona game happening, and started to get nervous, noticeably so on Twitter. I thought initially Trey was still looking hesitant out there, hesitant on his runs, hesitant in his reads, and I thought that was the early difference in this game. Chris Royal coming in with the super chat. Why was Wilson not out there? 0 carries for Jeff Wilson Jr. I was surprised about that. It is remarkable how much faster Elijah Mitchell hits those holes and breaks through that line. I mean, I was really taken aback at how well he executes this zone blocking scheme. It really is something else. And maybe that is what Kyle Shanahan is seeing as well. Bat Dad calling it out. Let's get those likes up and propel this broadcast to a greater number of Niner faithful. Silent Seth, another member of the sneakerhead community. Even with the sloppy first half, I've already seen enough to say just give it to the Rook. No need to put the team, staff, and Trey and Jimmy through the stress while the Niners try to make a playoff push. It will be interesting this week to see how it shakes out, to see what the national reporting is, to hear from Jimmy's camp, the leaked aspect of the injury and how he's feeling with the thumb. Very interesting this week. Lycan 4647. I'm happy for Lance. I think he played really well. With a little more time, he could be something special. That's what I am preaching is patience. Absolutely patience. You have to remember just how little he has played, just how few snaps he has had this season. Man, I forgot to get myself a fresh glass of water. This is going to be a rough one. This is going to be a rough one without that agua here. I need it. All right, Isaiah coming in, a fellow sneakerhead. My guy, let's go Niners. Let us celebrate this. Bobby Lopez, yes, Thomas almost had his first pick. We were breaking down Thomas when I had Croc on the program, Eric Crocker, and I agree. He has taken leaps and bounds growing forward. Croc correctly pointed out that he really has to attack the ball like it's his. Just that mindset of that ball is mine and I'm going to snatch it out of the air. That is what's needed, and he was so close to it. It was so close to coming through on that one. I think he's right there, though. I'm seeing good things from the rookie cornerback, just like I'm seeing good things from the rookie quarterback. Malk the Believer at Rob Shue. Hi, Rob. Now how important is that Rams game gonna be? Wow, great game. Yes, this one turned out how we needed it. It's not looking good with the Saints-Panthers. I'm going to go back and double-check ESPN scores as I say that, just in case something's happening. Panthers with the ball, 1:09 left, only down 8, but it's 3rd and 19 at the Carolina 35. It is going to be tough for them to come back. So you got to think it's coming down to that Rams game, which means that Rams game may get flexed to Saturday night. That is a distinct possibility that the NFL can flex it, not from Sunday to Sunday night, but from Sunday afternoon to Saturday night. Thankfully, I booked my flight in a day early. I get in on Friday just so that I can make that trip. Very excited for that game. A little bit crushed that I've yet to purchase my tickets to the game. Probably will end up paying a premium now that the 49ers absolutely need said game to make it to the playoffs. We shall see where the Rams are with their seeding, though. That will be the interesting part. David coming at Rob Shue. Trey did seem a little akin to a chicken with its head cut off in the first half, but it was good to see him settle in and execute. It's good progress. It was great progress. I agree it didn't look all that great to start, but man, did he settle in and did it look better in the second half. Improvement over the course of the game was what I saw. Malk the Believer, after that interception was kept on that super lucky forward momentum, call it saved our game in my opinion. Had they kept at that point, we may have a different ending. I think we're talking about the interception that could have been a fumble by Marcel Harris. Yes, that was big. We did get some fortunate calls our way today, which was rare for the 49ers. Pretty frequently, we've been looking at calls going the other way. I think that we got a couple that helped us out today. Chris Royal, truth, but they brought in Hasty when Mitchell sat. That was an interesting choice. There were a couple of downs for Hasty. He's been consistently the third down back, so it'll be interesting to see if any of those were off of third downs. Andre, sneakerhead, coming in. Corners had a few issues. However, the D played lights out. Lance's performance was solid. Great win. That was a great win for sure. The defense was, fairly solid throughout. I mean, only allowed 7 points, right? That is a hell of a defensive effort. But there were some times where they were unable to get off of the field, and the offense stalling out is, I think, what put the defense in that poor position. Daniel coming in. I know this is a Niners broadcast, but what the F, Antonio Brown? The only thing I can say there is it's entirely possible that, not just entirely possible, it may be likely that he's struggling with serious mental health issues. I just hope that somebody in his camp, somebody in his corner gets him the help that he needs, because I haven't seen the full clip, admittedly. I was doing the pregame show when it happened, but that's just odd behavior, and, I do hope that he gets the help that he needs. Mental health is not a joke, and clearly there's something going on with that guy. Todd Harris coming in. Trey did good, but Kyle always seems hard on him. Kyle yelled at him for missing Debo in the end zone. He breaks him down, but doesn't build him back up. That's a common theme for Kyle with his quarterbacks. I do think that he did the same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo, and Jimmy handled it well at times, but at others, I'm just not sure it's always the right course of action for Kyle Shanahan. I hope that Trey is made up of what you need to stand up to that level of criticism, because Kyle Shanahan just is that. He is a perfectionist. That is the way in which he coaches. He gives you the answers to the test, but he expects you to then get those answers flawlessly when the questions come up on the exam. John Tyler, at Rob Shue, thankful for Jimmy to pull us out of the gutter. Time to move on to the rookie now, though. Excited for the future. Eric Schultz, also very excited. At Rob Shue, Trey Lance was absolutely amazing. Looks like a star. Lance MVP. I thought it was a lot of progress for him from the first half to the second. I don't know that I'm crowning him just yet, but I am optimistic about what I saw. Nick from across the pond is now a sneakerhead on the channel as well. Welcome, Nick, one of the earlier supporters here and on Twitter, and I always appreciate it. Texas Niner, this is not good news here if you're rooting for the Panthers. Darnold holding on to the ball way too long. Another sack. I'm going to guess that this one probably has wrapped up now. The Panthers unable to do the 49ers any favors in this one. That is unfortunate. We do go into week 18 needing to win. 49er faithful, this game is for all the marbles, but it is fantastic. Leo coming in. Here we go. Another sneakerhead. What are people talking about with Lance just doing okay? What game were we watching? Jimmy wouldn't have done much better. So many plays kept alive. Over 100 QBR. No drama, but I don't get it. I'm not about comparing the two. I'm not going to try and say what Jimmy would have done in this game. To me, that's rewriting history. I just want to talk about what Lance actually did. I don't want to compare it to Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't really want to, say that, well, Jimmy does this, Lance does this. I want to recognize that Lance got his first W in the NFL today. I want to recognize that he did show marked improvement from the first half to the second. And while I didn't think it was perfect, and while I thought Coach Shanahan did struggle at times, really calling a successful game plan for Lance, it came together. They got the frickin' win, and Kurt is right on the money. How about them vibes? Them vibes are fantastic. Them vibes are the type of winning vibes that we need that set us up for another week of drama. Another week of drama that we get to look forward to. AJB calling out Bosa, 0 sacks. Bosa has been held in check the last 2 weeks. I look forward to doing some film review because it was quite clear against the Titans what they were doing to keep Bosa in check. Max protection all game long, chipping him like no end in sight. It didn't seem that way today, and this was another suspect offensive line. It will be interesting to see just what held Bosa in check this week. But I agree, once you fighting, calling out, Bosa let the others eat, though. Yes, other folks getting home. Getting home. Kurt the Chameleon at Rob. We did get help from refs, but you know what? We can catch a break every now and again. Yes, we have had enough of these calls go against us that it's about high time we get some of these calls going for us. Must win for the 49ers, gold-blooded, correctly calling out. That is what we are facing against the Rams. Steven already saying Lance should start next week as well. TJ Campos coming in. Cheers, family. At Rob Shue, who's your quarterback for next week? Love you, brother. Hey, TJ, appreciate you coming in. This is an early ask. I think as of right now, I'm hard-pressed to believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be 100%. I think psychologically speaking, because Jimmy's not 100%, what I would do going into this game is I would start Trey Lance, because I think with that way, the way it sets up psychologically speaking, if he struggles in that game and you have to turn to Jimmy, the storyline then is, well, Jimmy was hurt, so we couldn't start him. We started Trey. Trey struggled. We went to Jimmy because we thought maybe he could pull it out, right? That works for a storyline, for everyone's confidence. Trey's confident that you trusted him to get a second start in a row. Jimmy's sitting because he knows he's hurt, but if you're behind, he comes in and can potentially lead a charge. If you flip it the other way around, I don't know that you can unwind the shot that Lance's confidence takes. If you say, well, Lance won this game, but we're going back to Jimmy. Jimmy's our QB1. Yeah, he's less than 100%. Back to Jimmy, and then it doesn't work in the first half, and now you go back to Lance, but you just pulled him from the start. So psychologically speaking, I like the commit to Lance early, and then if you need to try something to change momentum mid-game, I feel like you still have an ace up your sleeve. That's how I would play it, but it's early in the week. There'll be a lot of debate going on. Todd Harris correctly calling it. Saints winning this one. Unfortunately, that is a rough result. A rough result. Joey Harrison correctly calling out, just because Bosa had a couple of games without a sack doesn't mean he's in a slump. They are just keying in on him. I mean, that's the case against Tennessee. Absolutely, they keyed in on him. Come on Friday, at Rob Shue. Why I noticed is Lance snap to release is slower than Jimmy G, which he has a super quick release, but he got better in the second half, making the decision to let it rip. I think the time was, the game was slowing down for him. We talked about that. Croc and I brought that up on the podcast this week. I do believe the game is slowing down for Lance, and you saw that carrying into the second half. Joe Mama, is it me? Or did Norman get benched finally? We all saw that, right? Yes, Josh Norman got benched. Dante Johnson came in, and then we had the same end result of a frickin' penalty on that. We need Emmanuel Mosley back for the playoffs, and we need to keep the young rookie Ambry Thomas out there. He is getting better week to week. Yes. Nick correctly saying game over Saints. Pick. It's going to the last game. Could it get any more dramatic, people? We have the playoffs already starting for the San Francisco 49ers. Supercell chaser. So now we have to beat the Rams. Oh boy. Yes. Yes, we do. We need to win in week 18. We need that victory. That is key to advancing into the playoffs. Thomas, you're right. Slow start for the Rook, but top 5 draft talent is shining through. Ambry Thomas and E-Man, have we found a legit starting duo once E-Man returns? Thomas is seeing the same thing that I am, that you keep that rookie out there. You got to keep that rookie out there because he is playing well, and that would be a great pairing there. I mean, better in my book than having Josh Norman. Glitching Dog, at Rob, any chance the Falcons beat the Saints next week? Hey, there is always a chance. I mean, the Falcons are not playing for much except for spoilers, but do not underestimate just how much the people of Atlanta hate the folks in New Orleans. The love lost between the Falcons and Saints is immense. There is a lot of hatred. If you want to look at a comparison, think of 49ers Seahawks. I mean, it is that level of disdain going on. We got another member of the Sneakerhead crew coming in. Arbito became a member of the Sneakerhead crew. Welcome to it. Rigo coming in. My man, your voice is elite. On another note, we need to accept Kyle's tough love. We will only create a monster in Lance. Gang, gang. I think you have to be in acceptance of Kyle's tough love. It is the way in which he coaches. He is a perfectionist at heart, and it is that perfectionism that creates the offensive system that we see. It was a while in the making before I think Jimmy got used to that type of critiquing that came from his head coach. And it seems to me that Lance so far responds well to it. Fingers crossed. Mazin coming in. Lance still has that ugly wobbly throw. We need Jimmy back. Can't imagine Lance going against Ramsey and throwing like that. There were some wobblers out there. I am not going to dispute that, but he still manages to get incredible zip on that throw. I'm flabbergasted by it. I don't know how you throw the ball that fast and that wobbly at the same time. Pretty wild to me. Scotty Dippin. What are we expecting from one of the most raw, inexperienced quarterbacks ever? Regardless of how close we are to the playoffs, keep his age, experience level in perspective. Age, experience level, and the pressure he is now under to win these games that are must-win games for a perfectionist head coach. Scotty Dippin is calling it out here, and I am on board with that. The patience is key. Now, between this and the idea of going back to Jimmy, I think that is a reasonable debate to have. Jimmy Garoppolo has a track record of success against the Los Angeles Rams. Jimmy Garoppolo clearly can operate this offense at a high level when he's playing consistently. Jimmy Garoppolo is also very capable of playing inconsistently, and the rookie just showed some incredible improvement from one half to the next. What would another week of practice and another game bring him as far as improvement? And then let's look at the playoffs. Are we going to be a middling team that is eliminated quickly, or could we become a very dangerous team that can make a late charge into the frickin' playoffs and really win something here? I think it's worth considering which way we want to go on this. And it's going to be a hell of a debate this week. One hell of a debate. Eduardo coming in. What's your opinion on Ayuk as a kick returner? As a punt returner, I like it. As a kick returner, we don't have a good kick returner. I have zero faith in our kick return skills, and I have very little faith in our kick coverage skills. Both of those units I find to be frustrating. The kick coverage was better at times today, but still a little inconsistent. I'm telling you, Coach Hightower has had to work with some definite injuries plaguing his unit, because anytime somebody's elevated to first string on defense, they're coming off of the special teams unit. You saw Jeff Wilson Jr. make the first tackle of the game today. The reason he's able to be on special teams is because Elijah Mitchell is returning and healthy now. Truth told, not sold. At Rob Shoe, start Lance week 18. I'm a Jimmy G defender, but Trey played good. He gets a B grading. I think that's a fair grade coming at it from the instant reaction. I'll need to go through and watch the film before I give a legitimate breakdown of how Lance did, any receivers that he did miss. I know that there were a couple, and there'll be a couple for anyone playing quarterback. You're never going to hit every single throw. But I will look to see just how efficient he was, how much improvement we got from one half to the other, and then make my determination on who I believe should be starting next week. Because Kyle probably will call later in the week. He will probably reach out and say, Rob, I need to know, what is your opinion? Todd Harris at Rob Shoe. Did you see the reaction from Kittle to Lance when Lance hit the long TD to Debo? Glad to see that. Oh, and how about the catch from Kittle? Lance, meet Kittle. Kittle best target for Rook. That catch was unbelievable. The chemistry between Brandon Ayuk and Trey Lance is undeniable. And I do believe that Lance will soon learn that Kittle is a fantastic safety blanket. Absolutely, that catch was ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. Great pass, great catch, just where it needed to be, either a catch or incomplete, and George Kittle just doing Kittle things. AJB agrees with the logic that I have, which is start Lance, go back to Jimmy if needed, because that logical leap seems easier on the egos. If you go back to Jimmy, you're hurting the rookie's confidence, and I don't like that. If Trey's going to play, prop the man up. He's only 21 years old. You've got to help him out in every way you can. Let's see what the comments bring in here. Texas Niner, I agree with this, that there doesn't need to be the debate about Jimmy or Trey right now. The win is all that matters in this one. We have to celebrate the fact that the 49ers are walking away with a much-needed W today, and put ourselves in a position to be in the frickin' playoffs. That's what we set up with this win. Leo saying it's not just Lance that needs time. Offensive weapons need to adjust to his traits, and the offensive line for sure needs to adjust to his playoffs playing style. Speaking of playoffs, Bobby got me confused here. Sir Lancelot gives us some playoff hopes. Yes. I believe that the 49ers have playoff hopes regardless of who they start next week. It's just a question of which one makes us more explosive, which one gets us closer to the needed victory against the Rams. And you know Jimmy's had success there. So again, it's too early for me to say definitively which side I will be on. AJB, at Rob, when Kyle calls, let it go to voicemail. He'll call back. As he should. Right to voicemail. Zombieland, Kittle is not only tight end one, but best teammate ever. He is a good guy with great hands. Great hands. That catch was just phenomenal. All right, David with an interesting angle here. I don't see why Jimmy would want to play. I mean, I could see him wanting to play because I think he's the ultimate team guy. I think that's why the locker room loves him, because he is a team guy. And if he can contribute, I'm guessing he would want to. I think Jimmy's that type of stand-up dude. I don't think anyone's questioned him for being a stand-up dude. They've questioned his consistency, not questioned whether he's a stand-up guy or not. I think for the team, he would want to play, no matter what. AIA, I think that is, or maybe that's Al. At Rob Shue, was the pick today very similar to the pick Lance had first quarter of the Arizona game? Looked exactly the same. I'll have to see the all 22 where you get the view behind him looking down the field. I thought that he just needed to put a little more under that he just needed to get a little arc on that pass, and that he could have hit Debo on that one. I could be mistaken, though. They seem to indicate on the broadcast that it was no way close to being complete. I think it could have been. I think that it could have been. All right, Barris coming in here. First half, bad play calling made Lance look bad. There wasn't a groove. Kyle Shanahan wasn't in the groove. Lance wasn't in his groove. Lance looked hesitant. Lance didn't look confident even when he was running the ball. And Kyle Shanahan did not seem to be in his bag. And then the second half gave me a hell of a lot more confidence. Lapacalolo, one of our sneakerheads here on the channel, the rookie pulls a win on his second start with high pressure and expectations. I say that's dang good. I am with you, Lapacalolo. That is something to be celebrated regardless of who's going to start at quarterback next week. There is no need to get into that debate just yet. We can certainly prop up Trey for his play and compliment just what he's doing without having to degrade anything about Jimmy just yet. We don't even know if Jimmy will be an option for next week. Let's just get behind the rookie for now. David, at Rob, do we really want to let a guy that's not going to be on this roster next year be the quarterback of the most important game of the year? I mean, that's a question for Coach Shanahan for sure, and a question of whether he believes one or the other gives him a better opportunity to win against the Rams. There is one thing I have zero doubt about with Kyle Shanahan: his desire to win at all costs. He is a win-first coach. And I believe if he thinks that Jimmy gives him the better chance to win against LA, that's what he will do. I hope it's Trey, though. I hope we have gone forward with Trey. I think that Jimmy is probably still recovering from this injury and will be for several more weeks. And I saw something exciting from Trey today. My hope is we keep that excitement rolling. Mazin, we need Jimmy's quick release. Can't be stuck in the pocket for 10 seconds with Darnold and Miller rushing at you next week. Trey will have his time next year. So Mazin is very on board with getting Jimmy back. I'm okay with that if he is healthy. I just don't know with that injury. It seems like a multiple week injury. I mean, everything that you're hearing is the 4 to 6 weeks to really heal from that one. And you're not going to have that time. Not going to have that time until much deeper in the playoffs. Again, I do think if you start with Trey, you can bail and you can go to Jimmy, even if he's not 100%. But if you go with Jimmy first and then try to bring in Trey, I just don't think that the rookie's confidence is going to be all that high. I do believe that, that it is going to be Trey Lance next week. I just can't imagine Jimmy being healthy by then. But if he is healthy, it will be a different conversation. Yes. Cam is really desperate on getting his message in here. I will, but I agree with please try not to put it in 17 times in a row. Since the Saints won, what happens right now? The 49ers must win against the Los Angeles Rams next week. Must win. If the Saints lose to Atlanta, that would clinch a spot. Let's look at when those games happen. Now, the 49ers could get flexed next week. Not flexed from Sunday to Sunday night, but flexed from Sunday to Saturday night. That could happen. It absolutely could happen. It's currently scheduled for Sunday at 1:25. The Saints play the Falcons Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So if the Falcons beat the Saints Sunday morning and the 49ers stay at that slot, then they will know before they start their game whether they need a victory or whether they have clinched a playoff spot. But if they get flexed to Saturday, they won't know the outcome of that Saints game. So this becomes, I believe, this will be do or die for the 49ers. Do or die. It will be one and done, right? It is the playoffs have started for the San Francisco 49ers. I believe that's what we are going to be in playoff mode for next week. I love everybody who is on the stream right now. If you're enjoying the content, I do welcome you to hit that like button. Help me amplify that message. Get it out to more and more Niner faithful. Bring more folks into the chat. And if you enjoy the content, I welcome you to subscribe to the channel because it is cracking right now. The 49ers are in playoff mode. Here we go. Looking in to see some interesting comments here. All right, spy versus spy, being a little pessimistic. Just be realistic. We've gone as far as we can go with Jimmy, and Trey was awful in the first half. He was okay in the second half, though Debo throw fire, though. The Debo throw was fire. I think it is right to temper expectations about Trey Lance. I'm not so sure about we've gone as far as we can with Jimmy. You know, that's all dependent upon the defense holding up their own and the run game working. But I tend to agree that I'm here with the excitement around Lance at this time. Fran the man. Lance was not in his game at all. I was looking at him in the first and second quarter, but he came back and made the win. That's just the progress that I'm talking about. That is just the progress that we want to see. Because it's only his second start. It is only his second start. Jonathan R. coming in. Coach called a good game in the second half. We ran the ball and called the right pass plays. Trey played well. We could beat the Rams with either quarterback. That said, if healthy, we should go with Jimmy. I do think if 100% healthy, you probably will see Jimmy out there. I do think if healthy, I just am not sure that he's going to be at any point this year. The Dark Azrael. Ambry Thomas was the best defensive back on the 49ers today. He actually was. I mean, K'Wan Williams got flagged for a defensive pass interference, and Ambry Thomas looked sharp. I'm telling you, from week to week, the improvement there is fantastic. Fantastic. Yes, people are mentioning the three-way tie, and that is correct. What the 49ers need to avoid is this, that Scott brings in. If the Saints, Eagles, and Niners all end up 9-8, we're out. That's what he means. And that is true. In that three-way tie scenario, it goes to conference record, and that, I believe, is the tiebreaker where the 49ers do not win out against the Saints and the Eagles. So if they end up in that three-way tie with Philly and New Orleans, that is the scenario that we need to avoid. A loss by the Saints, a loss by the Eagles, or a win by the Niners should be enough to seal it. Yes. Lee Ving, hey, they were running hard. Credit to the Texans. Credit to the Texans. I agree with Lee Ving here. Run defense seemed a little off. Texans kept making the first guy miss. I thought that was just a credit to running very hard. Rex Burkhead was not playing around today. Rex Burkhead was running hard yet again. He wanted that second 100-yard game. Just wasn't able to deliver. They couldn't stay on the field consistently enough to get the run game going. But you did have, 16 carries for 48 yards for Rex Burkhead, 6 for 25, ended up with 27 carries for 86 yards. So the 49ers defense held strong even though the Texans were running hard. Brian King, we can still miss the playoffs if 49ers Saints win. Let me try and decode that. We can still make the playoffs. We can still make the playoffs if the 49ers lose, but the Saints lose as well. That would be a way in which we make the playoffs. I'm not sure which version you are going with there, Brian, but the 49ers, as long as they win, are in. So that's the easiest way to think about it. Antonio, at Rob, Kyle's play calling was a little bit off in the first half. He only had 6 pass attempts. Today proved Lance big playability and running outshines Jimmy's quick release. Sorry. No need to apologize if that's the way in which you feel. I think it's fair that it's a debate at this point. And I'm not comparing Lance's day-to-day to anything Jimmy has or has not done. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of, does this seem like a winning strategy going forward? And I got to say, with the improvement from the first half to the second half, definitively my answer is yes. I think you can win with what we saw today with the improvement that we saw into that second half. Glitching Dog, at Rob. Trey's throws of the middle seem pretty good considering his strength is throwing outside the numbers. Yeah, if Debo had caught that one toward the end, I mean, he would have been well over the 250-yard mark. It was a strong performance, I'm telling you. Mr. Deadneck says, I hope we stick with Trey. I'd rather lose with Trey than lose with Jimmy. Interesting. I would rather win either way, either quarterback. I would rather win regardless of which quarterback that is. But I get what you're saying there. If we're going to lose either way, you'd rather lose with the rookie getting experience. That's a fair statement. Chip off the old block. Morning, Rob. UK Niner here. Sorry to keep on saying this, but our secondary still worries the hell out of me. You are not alone, Chip off the old block. It worries the hell out of me as well, but I do see Ambry Thomas doing good things out there, and I know Emmanuel Mosley will be back for the playoffs. Not going to be back for next week. Next week looms large, but I'm telling you, it will be fun. Jonathan raises a good question. Do the Rams have to play their starters next week? I don't know who's locked in yet. Got to do some research on who's locked into what playoff seeding at this point. Eduardo, at Rob, do you think this performance is good enough to give Kyle confidence with Trey? Yes and no. Yes and no. I still think Kyle Shanahan is very stubborn. I still think Kyle Shanahan, if fully healthy, might prefer Jimmy because he believes that he gives him the better opportunity to operate the offense in its entirety. I can't definitively say it one way or the other. The young Montana feels definitive. People seriously wanting Jimmy still? Laughing my ass off. E-Sneaker Finds agrees. Jimmy is not playing next week. I think it's dependent upon the injury, but I love the enthusiasm. I love that people are confident about it. Silent Steph has got a solution for the kick return game. We need to get Trent Taylor back to do kick returns or draft a kick return specialist. That's what I'm with you on. Draft one. Use one of those later round picks and get a return specialist in the building, please. Sean9519ers at Rob Shue. Not sure if today gave me enough confidence in Lance. Texans 30th ranked defense. Some good in the second half, but Rams D is a different beast. We need to score 35 plus. Rams will be going for the division. That is a fair point that if Arizona did in fact win, then that could be a portion of what decides what the Rams are doing. And again, nothing will be decided if we get flexed to Saturday night. If we're still at that 125 time, then you could see, yes, the Cardinals beating the Cowboys today. They are still in the running for the division. Let's see when Arizona plays next week. Arizona's game is going to be in the afternoon. So we won't know what Arizona's doing. So yeah, I think that the Rams will have to go all out. They would only rest their starters if they knew Arizona had lost. Arizona's not going to have played by the time the 49ers play the Rams. So they will not be resting their starters. Look for a very competitive game. I'm telling you, a very competitive game indeed. Nick coming in. Again, one of our latest sneakerheads to join the channel at Rob Shue. I'll be disappointed if they start Jimmy next week, especially if he's not 100% healthy. I agree with that last part of the statement. If not 100% healthy, I think you've got to go with Lance. Got to go with Lance to start. And then, if he's 100%, it becomes a much more interesting debate. I'm saying have to go with Lance if Jimmy is not 100%. To me, that's the ceiling factor. Leo, I believe superior scramble ability compensates for a slower release, harder on the defense. Leo was saying that to the chat. I'm saying it to everybody. Yes, I did see the quickness of the release. The pace was getting a little more rapid toward the end of the game. The ball was coming out a little bit quicker. I think the game is slowing down ever so slowly for the young gentleman. Leaving. How do you get flexed into a short week? I don't know. It's crazy, but apparently the NFL can do it. I don't know how they compensate any ticket holders that get screwed out of that. What if your flight comes in Saturday night? Man, gonna be tough. Sean951 again. Our game will most likely get flexed to Sunday Night Football. I think it could get flexed to Saturday Night Football. Rams going for the division while we're going for the playoffs. What better game to finish the season like 2019? We shall see. Very, very strange. Yes, people being confused by the three-way tiebreaker scenarios. It is very confusing. It's annoying that we haven't had the head-to-head matchup with everyone. But yes, that's what gets in our way. We have beaten the Eagles, heads up. We have beaten the Falcons, heads up. But we haven't beaten the Saints, heads up. And then it becomes a weird situation. Guilty coming in. Guilty Alloy 329. Jimmy never went up to Lance to give tips when he was struggling. He ain't a leader. I'm not calling him out like that. I bet if you rewatch that game, Jimmy and Lance have been good teammates so far. So I'm not buying that unless I hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Unless I hear something from Jimmy or from Lance saying that there is a lack of leadership there. I feel like Jimmy has handled this situation about as well as you could ask. William Bennett at Rob Shue. Yes, it hurts if we don't make the playoffs, but it is Trey's time. Just don't have Trey throw deep against Ramsey. Ramsey is a baller. It doesn't matter who is frickin' quarterbacking next week. Ramsey's going to get his. Ramsey is a lockdown corner. That's just what he does. Whomever is starting for the 49ers at quarterback is going to have issues with Ramsey out there. Felipe at the Shoe. Terrible first half, but better second. It wasn't all Lance in the first half. Shanahan had some terrible calls. I thought so as well. Texas Niner reliving the loss last week. That loss to Tennessee was bad. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Greg Thames, Trey Lance is a winner. Hey, he came in and pulled this one out. Pulled it out today, and that is what was needed. We got the super chat coming in. Gives me a chance to catch up in the comments. Craig Hagenson coming in. Why doesn't anybody tell Trey to lower his head? He took shots. Thanks. He does need to be a little bit better on sliding. Saw him when he was running towards the boundary, didn't extend the ball to get that first down, probably could have. I think there are some situational awareness things for Trey Lance that as he gets more comfortable out there on the field, Croc and I talked about this, the game slowing down for him. Once it begins to slow down, I think you will see that in his play style. You will see milliseconds come off of his delivery and being more decisive in the pass game. I think you will see more decisive running when he breaks contain. And you didn't see that today. I saw on Twitter people even indicating Trey looks slow. I think Trey looked slow because Trey was in his head. Trey was processing and not just reading and reacting instantaneously. And that's where I expect to continue to see significant improvement from the young gentleman as he gets more playing time. That's the critical piece to this. Andre, this is a great question that I need clarification on myself. When does the NFL let us know when the game gets moved? It needs to be soon because I need to make appropriate plans to be there at the frickin' stadium. Who all is going to the game against the Rams? Anybody out there going to the game against the Rams? I'm going to be there. So look for me if you are going to be in LA. JM correctly calling out the Rams have a stout defense. No doubt about it. It is going to be a hell of a matchup against LA. They are going to be attempting to win the frickin' division. They will not know what Arizona is going to do, and so they just need a win in order to take the NFC West. They will most definitely need to play their hearts out. The 49ers are going to have to respond to that. Going to have to respond to that. We've got another super chat coming in. Oop, clicked on one mistakenly, so we're reading it. What is that? Closo, get it. And to also mention it was refs versus Niners today for half the game. It was definitely a few calls went in our favor, and I'm not complaining. I don't complain when the refs calls go against us. I certainly don't complain when the refs calls go for the 49ers. That was refreshing to see. Robert Davis coming in at Rob Shue. Rob, do you think Trey got more comfortable after the half, or was it Shanny that loosened up? I think it was both. I think Shanahan was not calling plays very consistently in the first half, was not in his groove, was not in his bag, and then got significantly more comfortable calling the plays for Trey, and Trey got significantly more comfortable in executing those plays. I thought that he didn't look as lost as he did at times in the first half, and that was exactly what I was hoping to see, was improvement. I wasn't looking for a perfect game. I went into this knowing full well that Trey Lance is a rookie making only his second start, and therefore we needed to be patient in this one. I was patient throughout. I was tweeting it out on Twitter, making sure that my voice of calm was out there for the faithful. And man, did he settle in and did he deliver in that second half? If the game had been continuing on from that point, it looked like a shellacking. It looked like the Niners had taken control at that point. If you saw the entire game, much like the second half, that would have given, I think, 49er faithful a hell of a lot more faith going into the game against the Rams. It was the inconsistency that I think is driving people a little crazy. The fact that we went into the half down to a Texans team. If you get down early to a Rams team, they might put you away. They might put you away. So you cannot have the stalling out. It'll be interesting to see. Jonathan thinks Niners own the Lambs. We got this, faithful. The Empire is striking back. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Sean 951 Niners, another one of our sneakerheads here. Play Jimmy G next week if we can. He has the Rams number. It's a psyche thing. Rams will feast a game plan that will not allow 5-second pockets. If Jimmy G can't go, then fine, and Trey will need to nut up. Trey will definitely need to step up in that game if he is the one called upon. I think there's at least a reasonable chance that he is. Felipe at Shoe, agree, because Trey, too many shots and needs to play the sticks. I'd show him videos of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, one of the best to do it as far as clock management, as far as situational awareness. I am telling you. District 13 thinks it's clear what happened in the second half. Robert Kyle opened it up. He got comfortable, started calling the plays that he needed to. I absolutely loved it. Joseph Manna. Rob Shue, is there any way into the playoffs if we lose Sunday? Yes, a Saints loss or a Philly loss, I believe, secures it for the 49ers, right? You are looking at a situation where either one of them losing avoids that three-way tie. It is that three-way tie that is so dreaded for the 49ers. A three-way tie that involves the New Orleans Saints, who the 49ers have not played. As it sits right now, the only two 9-7 teams are the San Francisco 49ers and the Philadelphia Eagles. You do have a situation where Minnesota could creep into this, and then it gets even funnier because right now the only 8-8 team is New Orleans, right? So the only three-way tie that sets up right now would be Philly, New Orleans, and SF. We would get the short end of the stick there. If Minnesota creeps into that, it complicates it further. So it does matter what happens with Minnesota. If they could lose, that would be great for San Francisco just to get some of those tiebreaker scenarios out of the equation. Eliminate some of the tiebreakers, and then all you would need, if the 49ers lost next week to the Rams, which they will not, but all you would need would be a Philly or New Orleans loss if that were the case. But still, a lot to be decided at this point. Dumb Blumpia. At Rob, after the Saints won today, 3 storylines send us to the playoffs next week. Win of the 49ers, loss of the Eagles, loss of the Saints. Yes. Dumb lumpia. That's, I get it now. Lumpia, like, I know what that is. That's a food dish. Yes, I am in agreement with that. I do think it gets complicated depending on Minnesota, but I do not know that for a fact. I can agree with all 3 of these scenarios. A win by the 49ers, they are in. Loss by the Eagles, they are in. Loss by the Saints, they are in. Yes, those 3 I know to be absolutely true. Here we go. Mr. Deadneck says, I feel like the disappointing first half was more on Shanahan and the running game than Trey Lance. You know, I mean, that's fair considering it was 8 runs and only 2 passes initially. You can't put a whole lot on Trey Lance at that point. But he also looked pretty shaky back there to start. I didn't think he had his confidence coming into this one. I thought he earned that confidence going into the game as it progressed. Jaden Castro at Rob, should we have Trey Lance run out of an empty backfield? I mean, I do think that a quarterback draw is a reasonable choice out of an empty backfield where you have 5 wide and the defense playing off a little bit. If they do not rush 5, you're going to have an open lane that he can step through. And if they're playing back on defense, man, that could be a lot of room to run. Yes. All right, Sean 951. Once again, thanks to the defense, we were in it. 7-3 at the half, allowed to stay in it due to a balanced attack. If it would have gotten one-dimensional, I'm not convinced Trey can handle that yet. No, and that's the key in going up against a much more stout LA team. You cannot get behind. You cannot have a first half where you come out so slowly. And that's the question is, if you have a healthy Garoppolo, you know he can attack the Rams. So a healthy Garoppolo changes it to a true debate in my mind. If it's less than 100%, go with the rookie again. Silent Seth, Sneakerhead. Think about what we're asking Lance to do. Replacing a veteran quarterback who's been to the Super Bowl while having to play his first starts against must-win games and will have to lead the Niners to the playoffs. It's asking a lot, but isn't it a beautiful storyline? Storyline. Yes, it is. I have officially run out of water, faithful, and so we are in trouble. We can't go for a long show today because of that. Craig says, though, hey, Rob, great show. Sneaker lover here. Hey, if you want to become a sneakerhead, you can join the channel. That's for sure. If you like the content, I always say it, please like the content and consider subscribing. Thank you, Craig. Appreciate the support. All right, looking for those talking to me. Here we go. Victor's talking to me. Rob, did you like Kyle Shanahan's play calling for Trey Lance? I liked it in the second half. I thought to start, we were getting a little too close for comfort to that Arizona game plan. I really thought at the beginning of it, man, just get the guy some easy throws. Just get him some easy completions. Build his confidence, Kyle. Get him rolling before you're really asking him to complete on critical third and fourth downs. And I didn't think we did that. But the game unfolded in a way that allowed the 49ers to stay with it, stay in it. The defense kept them in the game, and that allowed Trey to get comfortable, Kyle to begin calling plays in a comfortable fashion, get in his groove. And I thought that really showed in the second half. Buck coming in at Rob Shue. We still need Jimmy for his elite quarterback sneaks. 4th and 1 killed us. Hey, Lance got 2 yards on a QB sneak. I was just surprised we didn't go for that QB sneak toward the end. Got a little conservative. Kyle seems to go back and forth on being conservative, not conservative when Lance is in there. Having Lance as an option confuses Kyle Shanahan. That's my official take on it. Matthew Mears at Rob Shue. Why would the Eagles get in if we beat them head-to-head? I thought head-to-head was the first tiebreaker. It is if you're tied head-to-head. If you're in a 3-way tie and all teams haven't played each other, you then can't count head-to-head because there's somebody in there that hasn't played one of the other two, and so head-to-head can't count. Then it becomes a different set of scenarios. So that's why if the Niners are tied with any one of those teams, they're in. It's the dreaded 3-way tie, Matthew, that we have to avoid because that eliminates the head-to-head matchup tiebreaker, takes it off the table when you're in the 3-way tie. That is the problem. Looking through the comments, getting everybody in here that we can. Niner fans are excited as they should be. Yeah, some people talking about Antonio Brown. Man, that is wild. That is really wild. Nathan Banks at Rob Shue. What happens if the Rams and Cardinals both lose next Sunday? Who gets the division crown? I believe the Rams would get it if both lose because I think the Rams are above at the moment. Just a dude asking, thoughts on Trey? Very impressed. I want to go back and I want to watch the film, but very impressed with his first victory. I think that Trey showed us today that he has the talent that you want to see. He just needs to continue progressing. I am telling you, we need an offense centered around him, but it certainly feels like he's got the talent necessary to do what needs to be done to take this offense to the next level. We got a super chat. Matthew Roberts coming in. Why doesn't the NFL mobile app not show Trey's stats? I don't know. That is annoying. Let me tell you exactly what Trey's stats are so that you definitively know. I mean, I know for a fact he ended up with 249 yards passing, 16 of 23 for 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 1 sack for 8 yards. He was holding the ball a little bit, had 8 rushes for 31 yards. I'm telling you, a good game by the rookie, primarily through the air, right? His legs certainly helped. His legs were necessary, but he got it done with his arm. William Bennett at Rob Shue. No matter who starts, just let's support the team in the name of the song. Let's come together right now and let's pray for Antonio Brown today. I've never seen a player lose it like that. William, I agree with the last half of that, the sentiment there. I mean, it is wild. I agree. If you are a praying person, pray for Antonio Brown. If you're a human on any level, realize that it's sad, first and foremost, that, it's with the memes out there, that is certainly going to be funny stuff out there, but beneath the funny is sad. Beneath the funny is a human being that's going through some mental illness. No doubt about it. Dumb Lumpia at Rob, I don't know if you said this, but the only scenario we don't clinch is a loss of the 49ers, a win of the Eagles, and a win of the Saints. Yep, we were talking about that. Here we go. Sean calling out. Let's not forget Lance would have had the rushing touchdown if not for that hold. Yes. Leaving. Yes. At Rob Shue, Croc was pretty much right about Trey's post-snap reads. Seemed much better in the second half. Yeah, that he was struggling with anything that pre-snap and post-snap reads that didn't match up. He struggled with in the first half, but got significantly better in the second half with that. Thought that he definitely adjusted. All right. Arbito coming in. As a fan, I'm happy to see Trey play. If we win or lose next week, the future is bright. I am taking that as a positive out of this one as well. I am most definitely taking away the positive. William Bennett says, Rob, just go get some water. We will wait. LOL. I think it would be odd for the 60 seconds of blank screen as I went to go get that water, but maybe not. Maybe people would stick with it. I'm getting to this super chat here. Jonathan B saying he just subscribed, but he hopes that I don't end up being a troll. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the faith. I don't think of myself as a troll. I think of myself as a pretty straightforward dude. What you see is what you get. People asking about AB to the Niners, man, I hope not. I really, really hope not, because I just don't want to bring that in. That's a lot going on there. Eugene Cleghorn coming in. Given his age and lack of experience at the position, all I want to see from Trey Lance is flashes of brilliance. He showed more than that today. The future is bright. Eugene is definitely looking at this from that glass half full perspective, and I respect it. That is the way I feel as well. I am definitely pulling a positive out of this one, that the rookie showed me some stuff. He showed me what I was looking for. Improvement. It happened in game. In game. Timothy, I thought the same thing for the play calling, was that it started out rough, really rough to start the game, that it looked like we were going to be at a repeat of Arizona. I thought that we were going to see Trey running 16 times. And then Kyle Shanahan seemed to get a hold on just how to call plays for Trey Lance. And I think that that's reasonable, that he needs to find a new groove when it comes to calling plays for the rookie, that it's not the same as what he's doing when Jimmy is out there. And so it makes sense to me that it would take some time to get that going, that it would take some time for him to, find his groove with it. All right, we got more folks saying they will wait while I get water. I mean, I am going to throw this up. Victor, all of you here in the chat, I'm going to challenge you to keep this thing going while I go get some water. I am going to fill up my cup. You let everybody know that I'll be right back, that I'm not abandoning my post, that I will be here in just a moment. Just hold on a second. All right, we got water. We got water going, people. We got water, and we got a cat, because I couldn't keep him out. We now have a cat officially in the broadcast. What's up? Say hello to Morty here. Morty is a Bengal, and he loves to cause trouble, so we will have a distraction through the rest of this show. I am sure of it. Yes, Rudy saying, hurry it up. I did. I got my water. We are refreshed. We lost a chunk of viewers, but to those that left, I mean, you're just going to miss out. You're going to miss out on a hell of a finish for this show because now we're properly hydrated. Now we can take this thing just as far as we need to. William Bennett, as Trey develops, it won't take the second half to get settled, till the second half to get settled. I agree. The more you see from him, the more settled he's going to get. You're going to get more of that second half performance as opposed to that first one. I am telling you, it is going to progress. You can see the talent is there. Yes. Jeremiah, what happens if the 49ers, Saints, and Eagles lose? If all three of those teams lose, the Niners are in. The only scenario the Niners need to avoid is the Niners losing and those other two teams winning. That's the scenario that the 49ers need to avoid. Yes. Nick is impressed with the speed. It's not very far from my office to the bathroom there where I can refill the water from the sink. So thankfully, yes, I was able to get it in under 60 seconds. And it appears that the cat, Morty, was not interested in the broadcast, which is good because otherwise he might rip these earplugs right out of my ears. We'll see if I have just jinxed myself with that. Man, we've lost connection on the Bluetooth mouse as well. We are fighting through it here, people, though. John is here. Thanks for the coverage. Just subscribe. Chipping in for a bigger water bottle for you. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Cheers to that. I don't think I can get rid of this mug. I have too much fun with that autofocus, but I will need to get a Niners water bottle here that I can then refill from. It was a rookie mistake. I was off my game. I usually have 2 glasses here so that I can go just as long as I want in the post-game rant, and I didn't even refill the 1 glass that I had here from the pregame. I'm telling you. It was on me. That was on me. By the way, shout out to DJ Jones and Big Dave's barbecue sauce. I told him I was going to get that on there. Boom. Because DJ Jones had himself a game. I do not get a paid advertisement from this barbecue sauce. A portion of their proceeds go to charity. I just like to support Big Dave's barbecue sauce. That is DJ Jones's dad doing his thing. All right, here we go. Jen coming in. That was fast. And the cat, you brought the show on a new level. I'm telling you. What now that we have a Bengal cat making its appearance, that is all we needed to take this thing to the next level. Arbito, I want to see you get pumped, Rob. I want to see that Niner fanboy in you. Let's go. A Niner win is a Niner win. Yes, it is. I am fired up. The Niners are in it for another freaking week. It is going down to the wire. Morty is now famous. Love your cat, Rob. Yes. Hey, we need Dizza. Can you reach out to Fiji Water? See if you can get me a paid advertisement. I will gladly drink their beverage here on the show. We need a sponsorship from Fiji Water. All right. Animal 0-0. Not sure. An Eagles loss gets us in if Eagles, Niners, New Orleans all end up 9-8. I believe that 3-way tie does not get us in. If we end up in that 3-way tie, that is the dreaded scenario. Zombieland. I think Rob is one of the best Niner PR guys. If only the Niners would, in fact, pay me for that position, I'm telling you. Timothy Glanders, felt good to see Kittle and Trey celebrating. Yes, it did. Yes, it most definitely did. Alejandro, Morty Niner in the house. Yes, Morty celebrates. He is not a fan of all the yelling that occurs in the TV room. He generally will stick around for a little bit and then bails after the first eruption. Quality touch, talking about smash that like button. I always appreciate folks throwing that in there because it does help me as my little pirate radio signal here as I drink my water, try and get rehydrated. It helps me push my signal. I always appreciate people assisting by reminding, because you could just be watching. You could be liking it and forget to hit that simple little like button. Sometimes it's hard to remember. But if you do, and if you subscribe, it makes a difference to me. Bay coming in, Rob and Morty. Yes, it's a great show, Rob and Morty. I may need to do a special with Morty here on out. He's very popular. William Bennett. The same for Kyle. Better planning. Have some bottles of water close by. LOL. Yeah, Kyle definitely needs some water on hand there. That's for sure. People talking about Scott. Yeah, broke the stream. No, just had to go get more water. Dinosaur Taco, getting water. Yes, indeed. Randall, DJ Jones, Saucy Sauce. Yes, sir. Yes. It was a rookie mistake. Archie calling out at Rob. Rookie mistake. Water. INT stat. That. Yes, it was. I mean, you do. You have to stay focused, as the barber points out here. You have to. Frank Perez at Rob Shue. You're awesome, man. Traded well for his second start. Love the second half adjustments. Secondary, still trash. It was rough. It was rough for the secondary. We have definitely had some bad showings from that secondary. Jonathan saying, you need some Hennessy and Coke instead of water, Rob. That maybe I wouldn't run out. Or maybe then I'd be going through even more. The water, at least I can drink as much of it as I want, and it doesn't impact my ability to get out the next sentence. David, at Rob Shue, hope the Niners understand that playing Trey is also showing to all the upcoming free agents what the Niners are capable of next year. Yes. Vladimir, I know you were waiting on that one. Yes, Morty the cat. You've been waiting on a Bengal for a long time. I know it, General Meow. Randall Riley, win, and we are in. That is where the Niners are. I'm telling you. Niner sickness, enjoying the live. I appreciate it. I do. Getting in that super chat. Here we go. Let's see. Gens of Love. €5 for a refill bottle. Much appreciated, Jen. Much appreciated. It's needed. We got to get a refill. Got to get more freaking water. Dizza says, shoe for special teams, coach. Bring it in here. All right, getting to the next super chat. 19 says, Rob, you drinking sink water? Sounds like you from my hood. Hey, ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of sink water here. This is Oregon we're talking about. Good tap water. No need to be filtered here. But yeah, you grow up drinking sink water, then you're okay going back to sink water. Randall Riley, sneakerhead, keep your jersey on, Rob. I wasn't getting too excited. Thankfully, when I stood up, you saw I do have pants on in the broadcast, so that's good. Lapaca Lolo coming in with the super sticker here. One of our proud sneakerhead members here, Lapaca Lolo. Just thanking you for your hard work and dedication to the sport and live stream videos to air out. Thanks again. Thank you to you, Lapaca Lolo. Cheers to you for that one. Love it. Love the support. All right, looking at the comments, the at Rob Shoes. Again, if you want to get your thoughts in here, hit me with the at Rob Shoe as we wrap this one up. Sean9519ers, member of the sneakerhead community. At Rob Shoe. It's amazing the season comes down to week 18. Gave away Green Bay. Gave away Seattle. Gave away Tennessee. Why are we even at this point? Should be playing for division this week. Damn, what a season. Let's get in. Hey, we still have a chip in a chair after all those games that you mentioned there that we should have taken away. We didn't, and yet we are still in it. Still in this one. It is going to be a good finish, 49er faithful. It is going to be an interesting one. Interesting comments. I didn't mean to put that one up. I meant to put that in a timeout. When you start talking about weird conspiracy theories in the chat, gots to go. I am telling you. I appreciate when people keep it friendly and joking in the chat, but when it gets a little weird, sometimes you just got to cut it off. Yes, we have to avoid being in the three-way tie with the Saints. People are obsessed with the various combinations. It is going to be an interesting finish to the season, no doubt about it. All right, I am going to give my final thoughts on this. I am extremely excited that the 49ers came out with a win. I was looking for positivity from this, right? I wasn't expecting Trey to be perfect. I wasn't expecting the game to fall completely on his shoulders. I knew that the rest of the cast around him would need to step up, and that's exactly what the team was able to do. It wasn't pretty. It started poorly, but the 49ers finished strong, and that is the key. The ability to overcome. I see a little bit more excitement with this offense out there. A little more capability to overcome those mistakes that would derail us when we're in that mode of 17, 18 play drives, right? I saw some shot plays that will really open up some things for this offense, and I believe it is something to build off. I feel like the 49ers have momentum, and if Jimmy is not 100%, my vote is for Trey to get another start next week because I loved what I saw here today. I absolutely enjoyed it. Randall Riley coming in saying, have yourself a great night after a good win. Cheers to you, Randall. I appreciate that. It will be a good night. It will be an exciting one. I'll get a couple more questions in here. I'll still try and end on the positivity, but I always appreciate the interaction here. Really D-Note says, at Rob Shue, Ayuk and Debo both average 20 yards per catch. I feel the ceiling is limitless for us. Imagine being lethal on the ground and in the air. I'm telling you, the ability to push the ball down the field that we saw in the second half, those shot plays are what has been missing from this one. From this offense. If we can add that, and if Trey can operate under pressure, that's the big question, right? The Rams are going to bring it next week. That's the big question. But if Jimmy's not 100%, again, I just don't think it's really much of a choice. William Bonnie here. All right, quickly, what are the most important offseason moves if we do not get in or are one and done? Bring DJ Jones back. That's number one. Bring this man back. I think you re-sign Arden Key. I think you bring in a veteran cornerback. You spend some money, $8 to $10 million a year to bring in a veteran cornerback, and then you draft an edge rusher with the first pick in the draft. That's not until the second round. That will be some of the, less consistent pass rushers. But if you're looking for a speed edge rusher in the D Ford type, you can still find that late second round. Now, if you can catch a pass rusher in free agency, which is rare, cornerbacks or pass rushers making it to free agency, very rare. You're going to have to address one in free agency and one in the draft. To me, those are the two biggest needs. If you can lock down Arden Key and DJ Jones, I feel good about the defensive line. Add that edge rusher to bookend Bosa through the draft. I mean, forget about it. At that point, now we are talking. Archie. At Rob, Kyle just confirmed that if Jimmy's 100%, he's going back to Jimmy. I'm telling you, I knew that would be his attitude, that he is clutching to Jimmy. And there's some reasoning for that. There's some evidence to back up Jimmy's ability to win games, in particular against the Rams. No doubt about it. Damian coming in. What's our playoff chances? Who needs to lose and how important is the game against the Rams? Win and we are in, Damian. A win by the 49ers guarantees them that 6th seed. All they have to do is beat LA next week. They still can get in if they lose, if there is a loss by Philadelphia or New Orleans. A loss by either one of those teams or a 49er win gets them in. Timothy at Rob. May be sad, but I know I'm going to have a good week with a Niners win. Well, I'm sorry to hear that for any reason you may be sad, but I hope that the Niners win lifts you up some. It has lifted me. Black Caesar at Rob Shue, you're the man. Thanks for everything that you do. That is all. Hey, that's enough. I appreciate it. I appreciate you all being here in the chat, interacting, being a part of the dialogue. I always have fun Always have fun interacting with the 49er faithful. William Bennett coming in at the last second here. Did you see when Debo scored the touchdown, he pointed to his arm like a watch as to say, about time, a throwing touchdown. I was fired up to see Debo getting in. I was just screaming my head off. I didn't notice that celebration. I will have to go back and watch that. It will be interesting to see. I'm telling you, it will be fantastic. Fantastic to see more touchdowns in the air, more receiving yards for Debo. I'm telling you. I'm excited. The 49ers are on a roll. On a freaking roll. Ev coming in before the end. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy. I swear that when Trey Lance dropped back before that dime to Debo, I said out loud, this is your time. This is your time. It is Trey's time, Ev. It is Trey's time, and Trey won. Got that first victory. I couldn't be happier for him. Could not be happier for the young gentleman to get that monkey off his back, get that first win, build that excitement, take this momentum, and go forward. I don't think Jimmy's going to be 100% next week. I think it will be up to Trey to come in and get us into the playoffs. And at that point, if you have a couple of wins underneath the rookie's belt, are you going to make the shift then again? I don't know. This could be the first in the series of several big games for Trey Lance. But we will have the debate all week long. About who is going to start next week. No doubt. We won't know if Jimmy's going to be healthy. We know that Shanahan wants to go back to him if he is healthy. So it will be a lot of speculation. We will be reading the tea leaves. We will be attempting to prognosticate the future. But hey, we got a W this week. That's all that matters for now. I am going to celebrate. I am happy. I hope that you are all happy as well. I hope that no matter who you're pulling for, no matter what your thoughts are about the quarterback situation, get that out of your head for now. Just appreciate the fact that the Niners won, that the rookie showed some promise, that we have a lot of hope for next year, and all we need to do to get into the playoffs is win this week. Beat the Rams. Beat the Rams, and we are in. The playoffs have already started for the San Francisco 49ers, and I am excited. I'm glad you were all here with me. Cheers to all of you for being here. Thank you for making the time. Glad we were able to celebrate a win on your way out the door. If you enjoy the content, please like it. Please subscribe. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Luke, thank you for the love. Much appreciated. Cheers to all of you, Niner faithful. I'll see you tomorrow here on the broadcast. Going live again tomorrow at 4.